Hello, everyone. Welcome. My name is Master Juniper Blue Mystique, and today I'm going to talk to you about the energy of May alongside your soul path guidance for May. Okay, so this is a soul path guidance, which I do on Fridays, because we are in a time of change, massive change, right? Some people call it the end times, other people call it the apocalypse, some people call it the return. I'm like, what is that light? It's the light, y'all, it's the light. The return of the gods, which is what I call it because of the work that I've done, okay? I am not normal. Nobody really is, right? Everybody wants a piece of their soul to be shining. However, what I do really truly isn't normal. From undoing the Sistine Chapel, undoing the Mount Shasta, clearing all the pyramids, reactivating the pyramids, rebuilding the crystalline grid, rebuilding the chakra systems that were dormant, aligning new earth and birthing new earth. Recently, I undid the Sistine Chapel Part 1 and Part 2. My 2025 predictions spoke very loudly of the fires, the airplane crashes, religion being exposed for way more than it was. And that's very significant. We undid the money matrix. I undid the medical matrix. I undid the food matrix. All of these things, and most of them are for you to see, to witness, and some to even heal through on this channel. However, they did ban the medical matrix on YouTube. So I do have that available on my Patreon channel, as well as in the Path to Righteousness, because the Path to Righteousness was everything you needed. It was every bit of healing that I did since 2019. It heals and aligns all your karma. It awakens you more than you've ever thought possible. It takes you through every portal. But regardless, you must choose love. Okay? So these are important times. These are important times. This is not a time to think we know everything, because we don't, right? We have to realize that we're kind of a blank slate right now, and to look at the world that way will help you, okay? Especially going into May, because there's some significant events occurring at this time. There's some significant things occurring. And the other day, I showed you that on April 12th, I shoved the sun during octaving the pyramids into Budapest and all the pyramids. I spoke of Budapest unrest and a fall of a false power grid system. I also channeled what Malachi said is to come more of that. There will be more power outages and things like that to come, okay? These are parts of the 3 days of darkness that people have been talking about. So when I just simply talk about May, I want you to understand is we are in the tribulation period, okay? The river of justice is what God is calling it, which is the Nile portal. We are in the end of ways of duality. We are in them now. And so, I got chills right then, y'all. I got chills. And these are very important things. And this is not about fear. See, fear is the lens of the shadow, and that will leave you blinded. Okay, so I'm going to talk about some important things. I channeled about May, but these are things you're not going to want to bring judgments to, okay? Because God is not here to judge you. It is what you choose, okay? What you choose is going to determine everything for you in these upcoming energetic waves. We are in the tribulation, and that's what that means, okay? So when I expose the Sistine Chapel for the portal of darkness, or what some would call the portal of hell, God doesn't call it that. He just called it the biggest portal of darkness. I also said that in the times of exposing the Antichrist, some people think it's Trump. That's an illusion you have to be very careful with. Is the White House free and clear? No, it's part of the system, okay? That's true. But you have to also remember is that Trump was not a part of that system, which is why they didn't want him in there. He's here to help expose truths. Because he got in is a time of things that aren't aligned to the agenda getting through, okay? And that was significant. You may not like him. They push a lot of negativity about him. They've done that since day one, okay? And so we have to understand that. He's not necessarily the Antichrist, but he's also here to, he has his own path, and he's here to expose. And I've talked about that many times. God also had me protect him many times to get into his position for a reason, okay? But when I exposed the Antichrist, it was done through the Sistine Chapel, undoing that and showing you what that really was, stepping out of Pope St. Francis, removing his soul and his heart stopped. I did that right before he died on Easter. He died on Easter. That is their resurrection time. Now, what was that? I talked about that. I undid the Holy Grail. We talked about that. So these are real end time things. These are lots of prophecies unfolding right in front of your eyes. And if you bring fear to the table, that's what the shadow wants of you. That's what they push. That's their agenda. Okay? That's not this house. All right? That's not this space. That is not what I am here to do. But I will tell you is we are in the time of tribulation. Welcome to your time of tribulation. And how do we navigate through that to rise above? Because when I exposed the Antichrist and what that really was, religion and the judicial system, those were the two bigger components. Okay, the White House is connected, but that doesn't necessarily mean Trump is. Okay, he has a purpose, and he's playing that out. And it's to help expose things. It's to actually help break down the system. Okay? And he's doing that. And you may not like him because they push a lot of poison on him. You may not like what he's doing because it's outside of our comfort zone and it changes things. But that was purposeful. Okay? And it goes beyond what you think. It goes beyond what we see. Okay? So we want to be mindful not to bring expectations. We want to be mindful not to bring fear to these situations. But I'm going to tell you right now, as you are in the river of justice. I actually went through that river myself not too long ago because I have been the one bringing the work about. And I've shown that with Budapest. I'm showing you these things. I showed you that, okay? I've shown you everything that I've done on this channel. This isn't for those who wish to keep the veil of illusion. These are for those who wish to push past and rise above. Because once we've exposed the Antichrist, it's time for the light to rise as well. Okay? And I did all that. It's on this channel. I told you exactly who the Antichrist is going to be. Also goes with the prophecies. I'm going to say it again. It is not Trump. Okay? It is not. I channeled about him long before I even knew who it was myself. So, with May, I'm going to give you the channeled message, and I'm going to also give you the tools you need to navigate this month ahead and to be in the path of light rise for those who want to be, for those who are soul path aligned. That's what I'm here for. Because you guys, one of the biggest messages right now is we have to become one. We have to unite in love to rise. And of course, through the work, right? You know, as they say, you have to rise with Jesus. You do have to rise with the path of the one, the sun, the moon. It's the work. It's the path home. That's the work, okay? It's not about ego. It's not about power and greed. That's the false manipulation, okay? Understand that. But we have to rise as one, where we all become one light under the sun, okay? And in day 6 of birthing the new earth, I called all light back. We cannot be both. And if you think you can, then that's your free will. But I'll tell you right now, you cannot rise that way. So what does it mean when I tell you we are in the river of justice right now, which is the Nile portal? You guys, I dried the Nile in the work over a year ago. And God said enough, time was now. So I've been implementing the portals ever since. And that's what you're literally watching unfold right in front of your eyes. And I proved that. I proved that when I showed you the power outage Budapest unrest video. I proved that when I've been showing you all this stuff, and it's actually playing out what I said would, and you're in right in front of you. Okay? So the proof is there. It's those that still choose to not see, won't see. I've noticed that. There will still be people who think that they can skip pieces of the puzzle. Like I watch that. They skip what's happening. They skip what I'm doing. They think they can do it their way, and they still think they can do healings and rise. But the thing is part of you healing, hear me closely because this is going to go into the month of May. Part of you healing is gaining a new lens, a new perspective. So if you cannot see the work that I'm doing, there's work to do. Okay? And I just got chills. That is so very important. If you cannot see who I am and the work that I've been doing, there is a lot of work to do. And I'm getting so many chills when I say that. Okay? You literally watch my videos. Okay, not only did I undo a false energy grid system, I birthed a new one, and I provided that healing for some. And some people think they can bypass watching the work. They don't want to see it. They can't see it. But then they go to the healing. Now, sometimes the healing requires that you need that to see. That's fair. But if you cannot see who I am and what I've done, there is work to do. And God said that when he bypassed some time. And then he told me to implement everything. And I said, okay. Okay. So the river of justice is the time we are in. We are in tribulation. What does that mean? I'm going to explain that to you. It goes into the month of May. Okay. There is energy coming forth for May that's very trickery. Okay. It's so as the Antichrist is rising, so is light. And this is what that means. Okay. They are going to, because the veil of illusion is falling. So they are going to push that veil of illusion tenfold on you. Okay. They're going to spew poisons. And I'm going to read what that means. Okay. So there's trickery. That's what that means. There is intent, malice intent in the energy coming forward. Because only those of a pure lens will rise. Those who can see past that illusion. That's what I'm saying. If you think that you don't have to see what I'm doing, if you think I'm this or that, or what I'm doing doesn't matter, every piece matters. Every piece. And so for those choosing to not see it and thinking they can just use my healings without seeing it, without recognizing it, you're not healing. It takes every piece, and that includes a shift in perspective. Okay? That's very important, because that lens of perspective is what's going to cause you to rise. Okay? God said, 6 months ago or so, when he said the time is now, implement. And so I did. I put all the pyramid portals into action. I've been octavizing the pyramids, which is shoving the sun through them. I literally take chunks of the sun and shove it through the pyramids. On April 12th, I did it for Budapest and all the pyramids, and I said Budapest unrest and a fall of a false power grid system. Then we literally had a blackout through that grid. Okay? Days later, weeks later. So God is showing you that what I've done is very real. This work is very real. And if you choose not to see it, then what are you seeing? Your lens is going to be your key. Okay? Whether or not you see through love, honor, gratitude, faith, these are the testaments. When we are in tribulation, we are being tested the rest of the way, okay? Every choice you make matters, and the time is now. We are in it, okay? So the river of justice is the Nile portal. It's the final one. When we get past the river of justice, that's new earth, okay? That's not a maybe. I showed you all of that. It's heart reviews applied. What does that mean? So your heart reviews show your karmic play out. And that is what is circling in your face repeatedly at this time. Whatever challenges, whatever the case may be. And if you can't see past any illusions, if you can't see in the lens of love and joy and gratitude and honor for God and the work, if you can't see the path of the heart and the soul and push past the resistance, then you're not rising. Okay? We are going to meet resistance in May. Because the Antichrist is rising, and so is the light. That's the river of justice. Okay? Those that make it past the river of justice see clearly, choose to see past veils of illusion, choose to see past all of the temptations. I'm getting a lot of chills. They choose to see past the negativity. I have to do it myself with my DM all the time. Okay? We have to choose not to pick up the shadow. We have to choose to see that everything is a reflection of you. And we have to understand that we need to become one to rise through love, unconditional. So everything has to become one to rise. There is no division, there is no separation, and there is no more duality. We cannot be both shadow and light, okay? This is important to understand for what I'm about to tell you with May. Okay, it really is. And there is no fear in the house of God. That's the shadow. Because you're a pure sovereign being of light, you have free will the whole way. When I undid the Sistine Chapel Part 2, that was part of God's message. You have free will, but only those that rise will be rewarded. The matrix that falls is a karmic playout, and it will be disconnected completely from all things light, from life, from the heartbeat of God. It will be like a mass of nothingness that will just fall to nothingness. Okay, so that's what they say about end times, is even the devil himself will be miserable. He's going to lose all power that he's had, all light, and that's why you're about to see him. Because the veil of illusion is crumbling, which takes me into May. Okay, the veil of... I just dropped my Bailey. The veil of illusion is crumbling. Okay, so I'm going to read this and I will pull a few cards. This is for the month of May, you guys, but I can't leave out what's happened because that's the time we're in. We are in tribulation right now. Okay, and that's not a 7-year period of tribulation. I need you to understand that. We're in it now. We are totally in the final portals. We are totally in tribulation, where every choice you make determines where you go. And it has the whole time, but this is it. Like, this is the final portals of rise. Okay, so it's very big. So consider that soul war that they've been talking about, the war of your soul. It's about to be heightened tenfold, okay? Because only light will rise. So if you think the shadow is going to go down lightly, or El Diablo, whatever you want to call him, think again. He's going to fight for your soul till the bitter end, okay? So for the month of May, and what you choose determines where you go. You either choose love and honor, union, faith in God, or you give your power of light to the shadow, which will not leave you connected to light. You need to understand that we cannot be duality. So if you don't rise to the light, you lose the light. Okay? If you stay in the shadow, you lose the light. So this month is about the river of justice. Okay, we are in it. This month, we are going into it. So it probably carries beyond the month of May. I'm hearing it does. But tests are in play. A push of a veil as it crumbles, okay? So the veil of illusion is falling now, which is why we're going to meet the Antichrist. He can't hide anymore. And that was shown to you in the final prophecies that were just fulfilled. And some people won't believe it. Some people won't see it. Some people will still anchor into those matrix components. Because remember, the Antichrist is the entire system that they created. The money matrix, food matrix, fear, all of the things that I undid. Medical matrix. It's all part of their system, okay? And so where you give your powers away within that system means you're attached to that system, okay? But the actual Antichrist resided in the biggest portal of darkness, which was the Sistine Chapel. So it's religion. I said in 2025 predictions that religion was going to be exposed more than we know. And I didn't know what that meant at the time, but I do now. Okay. That is the Antichrist. If you don't believe me, look what happened with the Holy Grail and what the cross really was and all that work that I've already done on this channel. I undid the Holy Grail on Christmas Day. That's what God called the resurrection, and it was on Christmas Day. Their one they did on Easter, that the Pope just passed away on, was a false one where they stole his soul. That's why they hung it on a cross, because they broke the Ankh. Masculine and feminine. You remember Adam and Eve? Okay? So the truth is there. What was the Holy Grail? It was not of light. All right? So to know the truth is what sets you free. That's why I'm telling you, if you can't see everything, there's work to do. And that's what God said. Okay? So a push of a veil as it crumbles. So what I'm trying to tell you is, as the Antichrist rises, they're going to push the veil. You think he's going to come out and say, look at me, I'm the Antichrist? Think again. He's going to come out with the same veil of illusion he always has before, but this time multiplied. He will use every weapon of mass destruction against us. And those are through the veils to get you to give your power to him. Okay? The final push for your soul is he's here now. This is the time. This is it. This is tribulation. And your heart reviews are being applied. Okay, so that talks about the lessons you need to learn are amplified. And if you can't see past them, if you can't clear them, you cannot make it a new earth. It's not about judgment, it's about duality. We cannot be both shadow and light. That's why the path to righteousness was priceless. It was every healing you needed, and that's what God told me to do, is put it in that. Okay? So for the month of May, we are in the river of justice now, and it's not going to end until the end, okay? How long that's going to last, I don't know, but we're here. We are in the river of justice. They told me this the other day too, and now I'm seeing it. And on Facebook yesterday, I did a little quick message about May, and I got trickery and all this deception, and I was like, that can't be right, but it is. Absolutely is. Okay, so May is about tests. You are being tested with everything. We are in tribulation. That's what that talks about. A push of veil as it crumbles. So people talked about tribulation. They always talk about things as it's outside of us, but we're there now. And again, this is not fear. Okay, I give you every tool you needed. It takes a lens of pure love, okay, is and will be required. A lens of pure love is and will be required. So to think that you don't need to see all the truths, or to think that what I'm saying is beyond you, that's ego. That's the shadow. And if you think that I'm just looking for your money, I have done this without very little support the entire time as a single mother. And I still show up every day. That's your shadow. Okay, those are the other ones who want to manipulate you. That's not me. You see what I'm saying? So those reflections are very important this month. That's one of your keys. Okay? So a lens of love is and will be required. We're all connected. So if anything comes up for you that's outside of unconditional love, that is your karmic tests. And it's, can you see past that and learn now and grow as a soul and not throw those at anybody else, but heal them in you instead and realize it's in you? One can only see in others what is in them to see. Okay? So that's the test that we're in. That's river of justice. That's the time that we're in. Tribulation is that whatever is presented to you, can you see past the veil? That is our keys home. We all must become one to rise, seeing past the veils of illusion and not giving our power to the shadow anymore, because it's falling either way. If you give your power to the shadow, it doesn't stop the ascension. It's complete. I literally just exposed the Antichrist. And God said when that happened, it's time to rise. And now we're here. We are in tribulation, okay? So the Antichrist is going to rise through the next pope. I already talked about that. He's going to pretend he's not. So they have this talk about this Messiah. They think he's the Antichrist. He's not. He's not going to sit here and tell you, yes, I'm the Antichrist. Get real, right? Like, it's just not going to happen that way. He's going to push, but he can't hide. So the thing about that is the veil of illusion is falling, okay? But if there's still karma in you and you're still governed by the shadow, are you going to see clearly? That is where we're at now, okay? So, tests are in play. A push of a veil as it crumbles, because the shadow ain't going to go down without a fight for your soul, because that was his power. He wanted to take away from God. That's how this started. A lens of love is and will be required. What you see, what you choose matters, okay? Your lens. That's what I'm saying. Ooh, look how many people rush to like the healings, but don't want to see the return of Christ work. That's God work. There's work to do, okay? Took me a while to process, okay? And sometimes we'll see it, and then we'll go on a path of healing, and then we can see more, because you can't see past the shadow. So that's why your lens is absolutely unequivocally required to be the lens in pure love, and you can see past that veil of illusion. And that's why the path was priceless. It got you past every veil of illusion. Okay, healing's always required, but to heal out of the shadow of the matrix, was necessary. It's all your karma, where you give your power to the shadow over the light. So what you see and choose right now matters. We are in tribulation. A massive push of fear, war, and unjust confusion. So I have to give this example. I know who Trump is. I know that during the journey I said they were going to try to assassinate him at least 3 times. And they did. I said this before they did it. God had me putting protections around him the whole way. I had to ground him. Okay. He's connected to the light. Trump is. That's why they didn't want him in the White House, because the fact that he got into the White House means a crumbling of a false system. Okay. It's outside their agenda. So the White House was part of the matrix system. That's why people are confusing it. And religion was the biggest anchor of darkness. That is the Antichrist. And it makes sense when you really know what happened to Jesus. Okay? So what you see and what you choose matters. I wouldn't push the Bible on people because some of it was not light. Let God show you what matters in it, right? Does that make sense? It's not that some religious people will all fall. That's not true. But you have to be able to hear the heart space, because that's where we're all connected and that's where God is within you. Okay? Because some of the words are not light. Where judgment is, where division is, where fear is not God. Okay? Power, control, manipulation, not God. We all have to become one to rise. And that's what we're in right now, my friends. Only the light will rise, okay? Literally, when I walked the river of justice, I had to process all of the return work I did. It was painful, but I really got to see that I left no stone unturned. I did it all. I did all of my soul path. I cleared it all. It's a blessing. So that's your heart reviews applied, okay? Were you soul path aligned? Were you clearing your karma? Were you choosing love the whole time? Could you see past the veils of illusion? Or were you giving your power of light to the darkness? Did you choose to fall off because of judgment, fear, greed, ego? Okay? Did you choose to see the push of illusion? So recently there was a post on social media, and God showed me this. I let what needs to come up, come up. And it was Kamala. Oh, Kamala Harris. And it's never her talking. It was like this image of it. And maybe there was a video to click. I didn't click it. But they literally said that she came out to say that Trump and his administration is pushing fear and all this stuff. And I'm like, are you kidding? That was the biggest. So that's what they're doing. They're flipping the veil. Okay. They are going to, in May, there's going to be a huge push of the veil of illusion to see which side you choose. That's tribulation. Can you see past that illusion? Can you see that there's something going on here, and if I don't know, I need to not judge. I don't want to push religion on anybody. Don't do that. And you don't have to believe me. Some people won't rise because they won't choose to see past the illusion. That's what you have to do. Okay? You have to clear the veil of illusion to rise. And choose love and God and light only. Choose the truth, because you've been lied to the whole time. So what you know to be true is not true. So open up your heart to what really is true. And here's the thing about the work that I do. I don't just talk about these things. I'm not here for power and control. I did the work, and I've been judged the whole time through it. It's right here in front of you. I don't know how much more proof I can give you. It's all unfolding. Look at Budapest unrest. Budapest is in the UK. I didn't even know that until the other day. I'm like, oh yeah, I did that. And I showed you the video. Not to mention the healings that I do. Like, if you work with me, it's hard to deny who I am unless you give your power to the shadow. So where you can't see all truths, there was work to do. Okay? So a massive push of fear, war, unjust, and confusion. They are going to push their side as if it's the side of the light against you. Just like Kamala Harris saying, oh my God, they're just pushing so much fear on you. And that's not true. Okay, that was their agenda all the time. Look what they did with COVID. Look what they did with everything. It was about fear. Look what money is. If I don't have enough money, I'm afraid I won't live. Do you know how many people support the work that I do? I've been attacked more than I've received support. I've been judged more than I've received loved and support. Okay? So they're constantly pushing an agenda that the light is not light, that the darkness is the light. And this is the veil of illusion you need to make it through, for tribulation is upon you. So, thinking Trump is the Antichrist, look higher. Look deeper into your heart space and clear any illusionary. And the illusions are part of our masks. Okay? So which side are you really on? You must push past the illusion. We must push past that veil of illusion to rise. You must choose to see the light. You must choose to see the work of God. The truth is right in front of you, right? Where they tell you things and they don't have to show you proof. You just believe it. But when I show proof, people will choose not to see it. That's the veil of illusion you must push past. And I'm not here to manipulate you. Watch all the work and then decide. But heal through it, okay? Because I give you all the healings too. I couldn't have made this journey up if I tried. This is real times. And I process the work myself. I know. It's not easy. It takes strength, honor, valor, fortitude. It takes commitment to soul growth and God, beyond the illusion, because this month they're going to push that veil tenfold, and they call it weapons of mass destruction. The weapons of mass destruction are fear, money, greed is the money part, religion. They're going to be pushed against you tenfold. Medical, all judicial system. Okay? These are weapons of mass destruction. False timelines, false time. The concept of time we only have right now. Okay? All of these are the weapons of mass destruction, and it's going to come up in the month of May. To rise out of darkness takes a lens of pure light and love and discipline and strength. A warfare like no other. Welcome to tribulation. This is where shadow from light truly begin to separate, for light only will rise. Pure light only will rise. That's not a maybe. Negative push from all platforms and shadows of those still connected to the matrix. And I have to tell you, a lot of people have expectations within that. So they assume they know what I'm saying rather than looking deeper and allowing God to show you the truth. Because when I say that, some people go, well, I can't heal all the way, or I don't have strength, and that's all lack. Okay? There's never an end to healing. I still heal to this day. I have a workshop on Sunday starting, because we've reached so far that we have to upgrade now. Okay? We have to do further upgrade on our cerebral cortex, our central nervous system, and more of a creative release flow, because in the new earth, you must be balanced from the heart center. So Sunday I have a new workshop because of how far we've taken it. So we always have to heal. It's releasing the shadow and healing all your karma that you have to do. Okay? The shadow is the matrix component. People don't understand the shadow fully. There's always work to do. There's always new perspectives to gain, and there's always more love to house. But the collective shadow has to be healed to rise. You have to heal all karma. Okay? And the thing about that is you don't see all your karma. And there was a lot of spiritual beings cutting ties to those karmic contracts and doing it to this day. If you think the shadow was not in spirituality, it was in every sector. Including religion was the biggest one. Okay? The White House I demolished when I activated the masculine pyramids, so it's not meant to stay either. Okay, understand that. We have to become one, and even in the White House there's a division, isn't there? And it's never meant to be anything outside of the masculine and feminine. Ever. That's what was stolen. Okay? So there's a negative push from all platforms and shadows of those still connected to the matrix. So anybody with a shadow will throw it at you this month. Okay? Let me tell you, when I was beating the shadow to unite with my twin flame, I felt like it would never end. I felt like it took every bit of strength I didn't even know I had and it will. Your veil needs to be pure light. The things that you see, you have to be able to see beyond the illusions. And if you can't, it's because you can't see past your shadow. There was healing to do and work to do, okay? So pushing illusion and veil of confusion. That's May. Weather patterns will also shift and rift this month. And a massive continental drift. Month of May. Weather patterns will shift and rift this month. And I hope people listen to everything I say, because every detail matters. And you notice that if you listen to all of my things, including the 2025 predictions. Weather patterns and all the work that I did, right? Weather patterns will shift and rift, and a massive continental drift is at play. And the better part of things is, you guys, I'm not just telling you. Check out this channel. It's all here. The work is literally on this channel. The workshops were recorded because when I had my healing, my awakening in 2019, I woke up to the fact that I'm a healer. And the healings I do are medical based. They're not normal. I went into my dog's energy the other day and saw things in her intestinal tract, and I'm naming off all this stuff, and my daughter's like, yep, that's real, that's real. And I'm like, thank you for the validations, because I won't know until after. I have to process the work, but the healings are real. So because of that, I started recording my work before the workshops even began of healing the earth, raising Atlantis, clearing Mount Shasta, activating the pyramids, the God's portal reopened, and consciousness returned back to Christ. Undoing the Holy Grail, uniting Jesus and Mary Magdalene again, and all of his blood being called back, okay, because they used it as a mass destruction weapon in religion. Knowing the truth shall set you free. I already know what really happened to Jesus because it's on this channel. The work is here. I uploaded it for you all to see. So don't be shy. You can watch it. I'm not worried about that, and I'll prove to you who I am. I'm not afraid of that. There is nothing about me that's a lie. I promise that. Okay? I'm not here for any reason of the matrix. I'm here to do the work and help everybody rise above that's going into new earth. Okay? And I almost died doing it, and my twin flame did die. I got a walk-in. The guy that was my twin flame no longer exists. I got a walk-in. So, surrender to freedom, a lens that can see beyond all confusion, okay? You can't be controlled by the matrix. You have to see beyond the veil, and we are in tribulation. That's what this is about. So there's going to be a big push of that veil, a big push of fear, a big push of time, energies, like self-sabotage things. Whatever the shadow uses against you will be pushed. And if you are not cleared of that, if you can't see past that veil of illusion, it's going to be hard to rise all the way, okay? So surrender to freedom, a lens that can see beyond all confusion, a fall of a veil of illusion, must see past limited perspectives, okay? And I said yesterday on Facebook is that the foundations are going to fall, and it will be easier for those that are not attached to those foundations. Focus inward with everything. Focus inward. Your lens must be inward in your body, and we've been so detached from our insides. It's ridiculous. That's what the matrix does, is keep you external. Everything was external, from electricity to the medical, where everything is truly internal. That's God. God is within us. The universe is within us. We have all these abilities within us. We are creators, not manifestors. I just got chills again. Okay? So focus inward with everything, and every choice is big or small matters. You may think it's a small choice that doesn't matter, but it's actually one of the bigger ones, okay? This is tribulation after all. Final testaments to shadow or light, weapons of mass destructions will and are being applied. What are those weapons of mass destruction? Fear, food, ego, greed, separation, division, and trying to make the light look like it's darkness. And trying to make the darkness look like light. That is end times prophecy, my friends. That is tribulation. And that's what we're in, and it will not last 7 years. We are in it now, okay? Self, reflect, self, discovery, soul, path. What do we do to make it through? Self-reflect. Everything is a reflection of you. Where is love not? That's all it's about. Self-discovery, because where you give your power to the shadow is where love is not. And that's what creates karma. Because God is love only. We must unite as one to rise. God is union of love, all connectedness. Christ consciousness returned. That came from one of my last creative workshops, okay? These all come out in my creative workshops, healing releases. They're super cool. I love, you don't have to be an artist to do it. You release through whatever. And it helps us connect to our creative side of things, because in the new earth, you have to be balanced from your soul path, your heart center. And we all have passions in there, seen or not seen. They're in there, okay? Okay, creative discoveries, things to give out to the world, because we're all connected. But we all have our uniqueness, right? So cool. So that's what this workshop is about. We're about to upgrade more on Sunday. Join me. Please join me for the workshop, because it's more healing, more upgrades, more DNA activations and healing and cleansing and detoxing. Cerebral cortex healing, cleansing, activation, and detoxing to 7D. Central nervous system, all the tissues. These aren't limited. As a 2-day event starting on Sunday and into Monday. It's not live. If you join, your energy is called in and you will feel it. But you don't want to miss anyone either. You do the first one, then the second one. And then after the second one, we will do more healing, more releasing, and more creative flow releasing. And then you will get an image to either draw or paint on your own time. And then once you finish that image, because you don't have to do it in the workshop, you can do it right after, which is what I always do. It can take like a month sometimes to finish some of them. This one I did before I finished the Nile, and the religion aspect hadn't come through yet. So some of it is preemptive, right? Some of it is like future tense. This one was a river of justice, which hadn't fully come through yet, right? So they're really cool. It's all about your soul path and cleansing the connection to your soul path. That's who I am. That's our key home. So some people, a lot of people bring their expectations and judgments into the work that I do. You don't want to do that. It takes every piece, and it's about self-discovery, because there's things of you that have been hidden from you. So you don't have to be an artist, but there's something in you that is creative, okay? And even doing healings for others or messages for others is a creative release. Chills. Chills, my friends. Chills. Okay? So don't ever think we understand the work. Just show up and be amazed. And that's all Spirit asks. Like when Spirit gives messages to you, we don't want to assume we know what they mean. That's when you're not a pure channel. You're using ego or judgment or your life things to put into what Spirit is saying. So we put it out there and we allow it to validate in the energy as it may. Okay? All right. So, crystals for the month ahead. First of all, you need to have a high vibration. Clear and smoky quartz came through. Okay? Topaz, moonstones, jade, red jasper, aventurine, amethyst, opals, tourmaline, and malachite. All of those are crystals that will help support you seeing beyond the veil, will help you heal, amethyst, will help you ground, jasper, red jasper, moonstones, help you release, okay? So all of these crystals will work in your favor for the month of May and beyond to see past that veil of illusion. But for the month of May, these are the ones coming through. Jade, red jasper, jade is help create power, right? Moonstones, malachite to see clearly. Your intuition required. Seeing beyond the veils of illusion. You see, the thing about me and the work that I do is if you're in your heart space, you can see it. Okay? And if you have less shadow in your heart, the more you can see. That's why your lens is everything. So for those who choose not to see, but still want to bypass that work and think they can they think I don't see that. It's like that's the shadow. It doesn't want you being your authentic self. We bring expectations or fears or judgments or thinking you can bypass everything. Sweetheart, it takes every piece. Sometimes we need to see it and it sparks an awakening. Okay? So if God puts something out there and we don't fully understand it, that's okay too. Take it in, put it in your pocket, and let Spirit and the world in your heart validate it for you. That's truth. That's the work I do. It's in the Akasha records also. Everything we do is. So if it's light. So be in your, also your karmic contracts are in the Akasha records. Be in your sovereign power of light, soul path required. We are in tribulation time. So a major push, you must be still. Make no judgments and only choose love and light to rise. You have to see past the illusion. And if you don't, that's a test. And we don't have all the time in the world left. We are literally in the river now. So you want to be sure that you're at least not picking up the shadow and being open, right? It's just like, I'm just open. I'm observing. I'm not speculating. Be observant, not speculative. And allow healing to occur and see past any push of judgment, negativity, because the shadow is about to push so much negativity of the light against the light. Okay? So new alliances forming. There will be new alliances forming because we all have to become one to rise of light, love, all connectedness. Right? We don't want to be working against each other, judging each other, divisions. Okay? Nobody's less than or greater than, right? We all must unite as one to rise. No separation and karmic demise. All right? So, also the plant lilac came in for May. It'll also help you see clearly. Okay? So that is the channeled guidance for May. That is where we're at. We are literally in tribulation. Now I will pull from my 3 decks that I created during the return of Christ's work, the return of the God's work. You see, God doesn't call this the apocalypse. So if you're in fear, if you're focusing on the end and thinking God is punishing, that is not the right lens. Okay? It's love, unity, return, light, and seeing past any veils of judgment, confusion, greed, fear. You cannot fear. Okay? You're a creator. You cannot be attached to the matrix and giving your power away to the matrix to rise. That's duality. And we have ended duality either way. So all darkness is being removed from the light. If you watch the work that I did, clearing out all the portals of darkness, clearing out all of the darkness from the earth, releasing all the trapped bodies in Mount Shasta and the Twin Towers. I did multiple locations, multiple things, even cleared Salem. And processed a lot of deaths there. I have removed all darkness. We cannot be duality. I undid all the contracts of darkness from the Emancipation Proclamation to the Holy Grail because it was not a cup, but they used the cup with his blood to do something that was not light, and that's what they called their resurrection on Easter. That's why the Pope died on Easter. You guys, when I tell you we can't be duality, you have to understand that the Matrix is the Antichrist blueprint. And the Antichrist himself will now rise through the next Pope. Because that was the portal of darkness. The biggest portal of darkness. It's all okay, so I also undid the judicial system in April's full moon, which I did on the 13th. It was a 1313 portal. There's 13 gates to heaven. This is important, which is where we're at. Do you understand what I'm saying, you guys? The Nile was the 13th gate. When I dried the Nile, they told me there was 13 gates, not 12. That's what was removed from Earth. And in April, hear me, it's on this channel, I did De La Morte, it says, 1313, De La Morte, undoing the Supreme Court Justice. I did that on the 1313 portal. And I shackled El Diablo. Understand that. Hear that. If you're hearing this video, comment 1313. Because the 13th portal is rise to the light. Okay? That means you're hearing me, you're ready to rise through that gate. Because that's the heaven on earth. Okay, that's the final one that we're in. And that's why undoing the Antichrist occurred on the 1313. This is just full circling for me too. I'm just realizing this because I just did that on April 13th. Instead of the 12th, they wanted me to focus on the moon, the full moon on April 13th, which was a 1313 portal. And I undid the Sistine Chapel right before that, and I said I'm exposing the Antichrist. And then I undid the judicial system. So those two, and when I undid the judicial system, I shackled El Diablo. And when I undid the Sistine Chapel, I exposed the Antichrist. Comment 1313 if you're hearing me. Most people don't even listen to everything I say. So if you're hearing me and you comment 1313, you might be able to get a free healing session on my next live. I pay attention, okay? So on the 13th of April, it was a 1313 portal for the full moon. I undid the judicial system just after I undid the Sistine Chapel 1 and 2. And I said I'm exposing the Antichrist as we are now in tribulation. We are now in the final portals of time. And the 13th gate is heaven on earth. It's all right there for us to see. And Trump was not in any of that. So let's see what the cards have to say for our soul path guidance for right now. These are messages of the portal. So these are the lessons of soul growth that we learn through every portal. I channeled these, one more, I'm hearing one more. I channeled these through as I was activating the pyramids. And I didn't even realize what it was till I was done either. I never do. Dude, I'm so excited for this workshop. I wish a bunch of you would join me. That'd be so exciting. I wished a bunch of people would have done the path to righteousness. I even tried to like pretty much give it away. But even when I give this work away for free, people choose not to see. All right. So, again, I told you for May, they are going to try to use the weapons of mass destruction, and one of those is time. The only future we really have is now. The past is already gone, so why keep bringing it forward? If you do, you are stuck, okay? If you keep bringing the past forward, it's because there's something you need to release. Release the past. We have to leave it behind. That's not a maybe. I went through the same thing. I can't bring the past up. You guys realize that my DNA shifted. I got a new walk-in. That's very real. So I'm a new half. My DM is a new soul. I do love him, but the shadow always wants us that blinded within us still. So I got his DNA. Like, I look different. Everything changed. My body took a hit, right? Like, I just shifted. So the past always tries to come up continually. From my old DM, from the journey, it's a constant trying to, oh my God, I even did this guided meditation that tried to take me to the past. And I'm like, oh, it was a horrible feeling. Okay. So we don't want to go to the past at all. We only have now. We have to fully accept the way things are right now. The past does not matter. If it's needed, it will rise to heal, right? So if the past is rising, you need to heal it. Set it free. Set it free. Okay? And don't worry about the future. Everything's done in the now. Next card. Emotions can be overwhelming. They're going to use those against you. That's another thing they use because we have compounded emotions, because we weren't taught to heal. Okay? We were not taught to truly heal ourselves. We were taught to be in our heads, which was a weapon of mass destruction. We were not all connected to the light there. If you're really paying attention to the red dragon and Mount Shasta and all that prophecy, I undid that. And that's how they had power and access to our head. Okay? And some of those thoughts were not ours, right? Some people are aware of that now. That's why Mark of the Beast is truly 666. The number 6 represents our thoughts, okay? So you better believe the shadow will use your emotions against you. Your biggest fears. It's going to use it against you. And you have to be willing to say, no, I'm a creator and I don't accept that. I had to do that this morning. They keep doing it against my DM, and I'm like, no, I don't accept that. And I have to push past that. I have to rise above that and choose to repeat and see only what I want to create. So if you have wounds that are compounded, those emotions can and will be overwhelming. And that's how they use fear, the past. Our emotions are everything, and they've kept us separate from that. Even in psychology, I know I have a degree in psychology. I worked in the behavioral field, and they like to medicate you, and I can't work with you if you're medicated, where they won't work with you unless you are. Okay? We can't get past those. I can't get into your emotions when they're stunted. If we're outside of ourselves and we can't feel all of our emotions, we're in trouble. So we have to be mindful and know how to work with emotions. And this was done in all of my courses. I taught this through the path. I've taught this through everything. Is your emotions are so important, and we need to feel all of them. And it can be hard to feel our deepest, darkest emotions. They can be overwhelming. But please do it and know you're not alone. I got you. It's just most people would rather judge me than ask me for help. I got you. Emotions can be overwhelming, but it is important to feel them and allow them to flow through you. That is the way of mastery. See, perfection is what we're taught to work for, but perfection doesn't exist. That's judgment. It's self-mastery. I'm not perfect. I don't claim to be perfect. I just want to love myself, and I want to be loved, and that's all anybody wants. Nobody's perfect. We don't need perfection. That's judgment, and that's ego and religion. God says, I love you unconditionally. Please forgive yourself and rise above and see you through the eyes that I see you through. You are beautiful just as you are. Just master where you're weak. Master where you give your power away. Master yourself. That's all I ask of you. Because when you're fully aligned to the love within you and your abilities and your powers, and you are free in your heart space, then and only then can you fully see me. And it's not done through perfection, because that's judgment. I am only love, unconditional. Balancing forces within and around you. Higher frequency energies, which we're in now. If you're not balanced from the heart center, you're going to have a hard time seeing past that veil. Higher frequency energies require full balance. That is where maximum abundance begins. The new earth, and one of my courses I did during Bringing Through the Return, was balance for prosperity. We have to be balanced from the heart center. That's new earth blueprint. Everything you do is from the heart. Everything you do is soul path aligned, not matrix. It's one blueprint to the other. Antichrist blueprint or new earth blueprint. You have to be living it either way. And can you see past those veils of illusion? Be honest with self first. Then you will see honesty and dishonesty in others. So I understand that there are people who can't see through other people's eyes. I see this play out often. If you're not, you can't paint things the color they're not. People do that a lot. They bring in their own opinions, expectations, and judgments of situations, and it's not the totality. Okay? And as true healers, like I don't judge anybody. I've been through hell and back, right? I grew up in a home that I wouldn't recommend anybody to grow up in quite often. And so, again, nobody's perfect, right? And if you can't own your truths, if you can't be honest with yourself, first of all, true honesty of self is self-love. To be able to say, oops, well, I got to do that differently. That's self-growth. But we've been taught to judge and for power and control and who's better than who. So do not paint things a color they're not, okay? You must be willing to be honest with yourself, and only then can you see truths in others. So if you're throwing your judgments at me, you're not being honest with yourself. I don't judge you, right? I don't go to other people's channels and dislike anything. If they're doing something that's sparking a dislike in me, I realize I have to heal something in me, whether or not I like it. Okay? The only future we really have is now. Ooh, look at, oh, is that the same one? Oh, my bad. My bad. My bad. My bad. Okay. Clouds seem like a block, but in truth, they give you room to and space to process and take a break. Pause. So we all go through a void period. So here's the thing about that is like, it requires every piece of the puzzle. God gave everybody time. They just didn't use it, unfortunately. So now we're in a space where it's now. We have to be there now. But if you feel like you're not connected, if you feel like cloudy haze, you need to go inward and you need to connect. And the things that we do in those moments where we feel like nothing is happening is get aligned, stay grounded, open your chakras, clear your heart, and calm the mind. And just raise that vibration, okay? And then we're ready when something does come through. It also gives us time to process what has already happened, because you can only do so much and your system has to process. Same with the work that I do. I would do it, like activating the pyramid in Fiji was the first one, and I'm like, what did I just do? Or when I cleared Mount Shasta, I had to pause. I had to spend 30 days processing all the life there, the souls that I freed. Okay, it was a lot of trauma. So I had to process all their deaths. And I had to pause and take 30 days. I couldn't see anything else at that time. So sometimes we need that moment to process, and sometimes we're not aligned, right? So no matter what happens, there's something to do. It's within you. Everything is actually through you. It only exists through you. So to rise to new earth, you must be actively living out the new earth blueprint right now, because we're in tribulation right now. We are at the river of justice right now. And so if you're not heart-centered, if you're not actively in the new earth blueprint, are you going to be able to detach from the matrix that's falling? They're going to have weapons of mass destruction against you. You are either in the Antichrist blueprint or you're in the new earth blueprint. It all happens through you. Okay? That was that part. So we only have 2 more decks. I will pull through this one really quick, and then a message from our loved ones and guides. And that is May. Okay? Pay attention to all details of what I said. I said something about weather in May. As far as the presidency goes, I feel like it's a lot of push of fear and war, and also false truths. There's a huge veil of illusion that's going to be pushed on you. And they're going to make you think that the darkness is still the light, and the true light is darkness. Can you see past that illusion? If you cannot, you are duality. You cannot rise. It's not fear. There is no punishment. You just can't remain in new earth. It's your choice. Trust me, God gives you free will. But we can't be duality anymore. It's the end of that. Okay? So the return of the gods, return of light, end of duality, end of darkness. It will not exist anymore. Yes. Yes. So I told you for the month of May, your perspective is everything. If you cannot see beyond the veils of illusion, that is what you're being tested about right now. That is your test right now. So it's time to see things from a different light. New perspective required. See the Merkabah, or the Star of David, which we called back from Judaism? It's actually the Merkabah. And by the way, the name of my first DM was David. What really happened to Jesus? Do you know? Do you know where his soul went after I freed it? It's on my channel. Time to see things from a different light. New perspective required. And love. Pink rays, love should be your guide. So this is a sigil for pink ray activations. If you wish to have it, just invoke it. Okay? Question your reality and dig deeper. You need to question your reality because you need to get into the heart space and follow the path of the sun and the moon. Okay? Also, in my last healing I did on my last channel, my other channel, God said it's time to meet the walkers of the sun and the moon. That's what he called us. It was pretty cool. So love needs to be your guide. You need to gain new perspectives. You have to see beyond the illusion. You have to see beyond the illusion. Question everything in your reality. Everything. Question it all. Question everything in your reality. Okay? Don't push ego on me. It's not my ego that I'm reflecting. Okay? I know who I am. I know what I've done. and I know the path home. That's what it's about. We must have soul path alignment. Everything I've done is the soul path. Everything I've done is a true soul path. So the light of the sun, the moon, Sekhmet, the Nile, Horus returned. It's all there, okay? And then after that, it's new earth. So pink rays, time for things time to see things from a different light, question your reality, and dig deeper. And join me on this new workshop so you can upgrade. You have to upgrade your central nervous system, your DNA, all of that only gets healed and upgraded when you've called your power back from the shadow at that level. So we've gone so far, it's time for a new one. And it's also April's Creative Flow Workshop, which deals with New Earth Blueprint, okay? You don't have to be an artist. It deals with New Earth Blueprint. Being balanced from the heart center, that's what I do. And they come out doing pictures. You don't have to show yours to everybody, but mine are part of the Return of Christ work. So, and my mom's like, Brianna, you got to make a deck out of those. And I'm like, I don't know if I have enough yet. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I have 12 paintings so far. Ooh, this will be the 13th, y'all. Let me count again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. This might be the 13th or 14th, either way. Pretty amazing. So I'm like, well, I have to get enough paintings before I can create a deck of the Return of Christ work. Oh boy. All right. So the final message for May and your soul path guidance is look deeper. The well, emotions. You must look into your emotions. Do not run from them. Remember, they're going to be heavy, but you need to unbury your emotions. You need to look deeper, okay? Clear your emotions. Do the work of the healing and releasing, and then you get new perspectives, all right? I was right by your side on your special day, all right? So the loved ones want to say that. I was right by your side on your special day. You are not alone, okay? They truly are always with us. They truly are. When you're thinking of them, it's because they're with you. If our emotions block us from seeing them more clearly. The more we dig into that, the more we release and heal, the more we know they're with us. But also somebody needs to hear that, is they were with you. They were with you when you weren't sure if they were there. Accept the challenge. It will be worth it. Okay, game of chess. This is a warfare, okay, of darkness to light. Crown games. I told you recently, let the crown games begin, and I think only 9 people saw that. I don't know. People are picking and choosing what they see, and you're not ready to rise. I'll tell you that right now. Accept the challenge. It will be worth it. Okay? Strategy. You need to be able to see beyond the illusion. Okay, and a lost item, all right? What was lost now will be found. Okay, so this entirety of this message is know you're not alone. The challenge is the way. Digging through your emotions uncovers what was lost and hidden along the way. Question your reality, dig deeper. Both of those decks are saying the same thing. Love should be your guide, right? You're not alone. You are loved. I am here with you. You need to do the healing, release the emotions, question all of your reality to see past the illusion. You need to see past the illusion. Okay? Welcome to tribulation. God said when I exposed the Antichrist, it was time for the light to rise. You guys, you can't deny the work. I didn't even know it was coming, and the proof is there. That's the coolest part. I wouldn't want to lie about this. I wasn't religious or spiritual. I had a psychology degree and was just raising my family. I've been alone through this journey, judged the whole way, attacked the whole way, and I still choose love and rise. And I'm very little supported in this work. So don't let your ego be your demise or lies. And if you want to join me in this next workshop, I encourage anybody to do the work of this work, because you get back tenfold what you put into this work. Soul growth, healing, it is the path. But you must be soul path aligned either way. And you can either get help or do it on your own, but the answers are there. And it's up to you. It truly is. We're not here to force you. There is no fear with God. That's a test, an illusion. But it is time to rise. Just let go of the foundation that's falling. For only those who want to hold on to that foundation will meet karmic demise. So much love, my friends. Until next time, remember, it's Antichrist Blueprint or New Earth Blueprint. I don't know why my palms are always so red. This arm was destroyed, and I look at that and I'm like, ew, pay no mind to the red palms. New Earth Blueprint or Antichrist Blueprint. It's up to you. Comment 1313 if you listen to all I say to you. That is the portal we are in, my friends. The end. So much love.